As signatories of the Peace and Friendship Treaties of 1760-61, the Mawio'mi, formed by the collective Mi'kmaq communities of Gesgapegiag, Gespeg, and Listuguj, is deeply troubled by the recent events in Nova Scotia that occurred during the night of October 13th, in which two Mi'kmaq fishermen were trapped inside a lobster pound by a group of non-Indigenous fishermen, and also where a vehicle belonging to the Mi'kmaq was set on fire during the same altercation. What is more troubling is even though the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, as well as the Department of Fisheries and Oceans Canada, witnessed the violent actions of the non-Indigenous fishermen towards the Mi'kmaq fishermen, both of the RCMP and the FO officials decided to not intervene and instead permit the criminal conduct that jeopardized the safety of our Mi'kmaq brothers. By displaying the unwillingness to protect the Mi'kmaq that night, Canada is sending a clear message to the effect that it is acceptable to harass, threaten, and assault Mi'kmaq people who are simply exercising a treaty right that has been recognized by the Supreme Court of Canada.
In 1999, with the Marshall decision, the highest court in Canada confirmed the constitutionally protected right of the Mi'kmaq to earn a moderate livelihood from hunting, fishing, and gathering, including lobster fisheries. Consequently, in a country where the rule of law is paramount, which includes a Charter of Rights and Freedoms that specifically state that everyone has the right to equal treatment before and under the law, and equal protection and benefit of that law without discrimination, it is sad to witness Mi'kmaq people being treated differently by the Government of Canada. Therefore, on behalf of the Mi'kmaq of the Mawio'mi, as represented by the leadership of Gesgapegiag, Gespeg, and Listuguj, we demand that the Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, orders the DFO as well as the RCMP to intervene and protect any Mi'kmaq fishermen and their family in any matters where they exercise their right to earn a moderate livelihood on the waters of the Mi'kmaq territory.
Mr. Trudeau, there is no doubt that you are aware of what is happening in Nova Scotia and the community of Sipekne'katik. It is inconceivable that you choose not to intervene in this matter, where the Mi'kmaq did absolutely nothing illegal and yet suffer once again the injustices, while exercising a right that has been recognized to us in the highest court of justice in this country. The Mi'kmaq only want to be able to exercise peacefully those rights recognized in order to earn a moderate livelihood and to be able to feed their families. You and your government proclaim loud and clear in all possible forums that there is indeed systemic racism in our country. The Mi'kmaq of Nova Scotia have been undergoing threats, violence, and intimidation for more than a month now. When do you plan to take concrete action to stop all this chaos? The RCMP are unwilling to appease the current and escalating situation, which is unwarranted towards our Mi'kmaq brothers and sisters in Nova Scotia. Now is your chance to show your true colors, stop your rhetoric, and act. A pause on out-of-season fishing, as suggested by the former Minister of Fisheries of Nova Scotia, is also not the solution, because this so-called temporary stop does not serve the interests of the Mi'kmaq, but those of the non-native fishermen. Once again, justice will not be well served. You are well aware that a decision from the Supreme Court of Canada has the force of law, and we want nothing less than the law to be observed peacefully. The obligation to enforce this law rests with the RCMP, and they have so far failed miserably to enforce it. This must be said. We want to say to all our brothers and sisters that we, the three Mi'kmaq communities of Gesgapegiag, Gespeg, and Listuguj, united under the Mawio'mi, are with you wholeheartedly in your fight for justice. We are also affected by the Marshall decision, and we intend to defend our collective rights together.
Good afternoon. This is Chief John Martin from the Gesgapegiag First Nation, part of the nation, the Mi'kmaq. And I have a message for the Prime Minister of Canada, Minister Lametti, and the Minister at the Department of Fisheries and Oceans, and as well for the people in charge of the RCMP. I'm quite concerned about what's happening in Nova Scotia, with the Mi'kmaq people. Their property being destroyed. They are criminal acts. And it is really sad to see that Canada supports this kind of action. And I say support because your RCMP officers stand idly by, and watch these actions. And in some cases, your representatives from Fisheries and Oceans have actually taken part in some of these actions of destructive actions. So it's a real concern. Not only are we applying the rule of law in a very unfair manner, supporting criminal acts, I think, is really a human rights violation. Mi'kmaq people have had treaties, that were signed. These treaties were recognized numerous times in the courts, and martial decision being one of the most important decisions which supports our people in terms of gaining a livelihood, finally gaining access to a resource that is rightfully ours, and being prevented from exercising that right with the support of the Canadian government is something that Canadians should not accept. It's not acceptable. I think that there's a lot of work to be done with your country, Canada, to educate people, about the treaties. Educate Canadians, because you're not doing a very good job at it. Otherwise, Canadians wouldn't be doing these things to First Nations people. The people in Nova Scotia would not be destroying property of the Mi'kmaq when they are exercising a right that is rightfully theirs. Yes, there's a difference between Canadians and Mi'kmaq people. Mi'kmaq people are the original owners of this land. We have never ceded a title, and we have certain rights that other Canadians do not have. And I think that's something that needs to be taught in your schools. You cannot continue to apply the rule of law when you feel like it, when and to whomever it applies. So I think, that the Canadian government needs to take action here, stop what is happening. Those people that are committing criminal acts need to be taken to court. They need to be charged, and you need to work on your education process in terms of educating the people. Because right now the attitudes that prevail and continue, the discriminatory and prejudice and racial slurs and actions against our people, is something that your system continues to reinforce, and you need to put a stop to it. That's what I have to say to you. Thank you.